Good morning and welcome to the Point. It is Tuesday, September 29th, 2020. Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN Television Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel, the website www.gbn.gd, GBN TV channel 7, 11 and 20, and good morning to the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9. This morning our guest is former NDC caretaker for St. Patrick East, Mrs. Cecelia and John. She's our guest this morning. The northern part of the island is at the center of this morning's program. Good morning, Miss John. How are you?
Good morning, Blossom. I'm fine, thank you. And good morning to our local listeners, those regionally, our friends, our family members, colleagues, and especially those in the diaspora who have contributed over the years to our own economic development here in Grenada. We welcome them, not just for the remittances, the little barrels and so that they send, but also for the inputs, the skills, the knowledge that they can share with us to help to develop Grenada. We have to remember that most of our Grenadian colleagues who live now in the diaspora, they went there to help themselves, to better themselves. Not that they really wanted to leave Grenada, a lovely place like, or a lovely island, but circumstances. But they do make a contribution to our country's development. And for that, we say thank you so much for those of you out in the diaspora working your tail off to help us to build our beautiful country. We say thank you.
Well said indeed.
And Blossom, before I go on, I just want to say congratulations on behalf of the NDC to all the students who sat and passed first of all, to all the students who sat the exams, because I know they would have given it the best shot. And especially to those who have passed the subjects of the choice, we say congratulations. And those who didn't do so well, we're saying to them, don't give up, work harder next time, and you will succeed. On a sad note, the NDC also expresses the support to, condolences, I should say, to the Natu family of Mount Rose in St. Patrick, the mother lost her son tragically a few weeks ago. And we're just asking that God be with her, continue to be with her, and to comfort her and her family at this time of loss.
All right, so as you've mentioned, St. Patrick, we're going to get right into it with the parish. Let's start with a number of issues that have been brewing in St. Patrick that has garnered public interest and public discussions. And the first one we'll tackle is the Lavera project. That's a major project in St. Patrick that has garnered a lot of public interest. From your point of view, what's your thoughts on the development up there?
Before I speak about the development in St. Patrick East, I just want to premise whatever I'm going to say now, my statements, whatever I'm talking about, I want to put it into context that the NDC, as a party, a political party, when you look at the policy agenda for 2017 to 2030, it states quite clearly that job creation is among the most important issue that we need to be looking at to help our people to prosper, to grow, to have some dignity and to develop. So we have no issue whatsoever, nothing whatsoever about job creation. We welcome job creation because it's something that we speak to extensively. However, creating jobs must be done in a context and it must be controlled. And I also would like to say that whoever our investors are, or wherever they come from, whether Japan, whether the USA, whether China, whether Canada, we welcome investors. Because as a small island developing state, we cannot do it alone. We need help to get it done. But at the same time, it should not be help at any cost. It should not be at the cost of our people or the environment, which helps us to live productive lives. And the very reason some of the investors chose to come to Grenada is because of what we have to offer. So any investor coming to Grenada, the government of Grenada should have a proper plan in place, infrastructural plan, development plan, whatever it is, to make sure that it is within what our expectations. Okay? They need to know, the government of Grenada also have to be in control of what happens in Grenada under any investor. So we cannot go about blaming investors. We welcome investors as a political party because we have done it in the past and it worked well because what we did was above board and people were able to have sustainable jobs and things went, you know, from point A to point B. But right now, let me go back a few weeks ago. There was an invitation out there that Grenadians, nationals, whoever it is, join the representatives from St. Patrick East and West to do a site visit of the Livera project. And I went there with no malintention. I went there, to be honest with you, as a citizen of Grenada, to see what's happening because I heard a lot of talk. For example, I heard that some of the people who normally go and fish in the lake or hold their crabs, the local people were banned from passing through the area and those type of things. And I disputed it. I said, no, that cannot be true. Not in Grenada. That can't be true. I know there are things happening in other parts of Grenada, but St. Patrick, way up north, you know, a lovely historical part of the world. And lo and behold, when I went there the morning, I saw a building a good few feet over the lake. And the road open, no barrier, nothing saying no trespassing or people are prohibited from coming in or gate was up and I jumped the gate, nothing like that. So I coolly walked through there and just watching, but I wasn't going to go right down because my legs ain't good anyway and I wouldn't go on the project site, but I would go as far as I could get to see what's happening. I think it's as a Grenadian, it's in my interest to know what's happening, especially being from St. Patrick and in St. Patrick East, of course. So I was walking through and this guy just said, you can't go through, hello, stop, and all of that. And I'm wondering if I really was in Grenada and what was I doing wrong? What I was doing wrong? Was I trespassing? Was I walking with any ammunition or going to blow up someplace or doing something illegal? No. And so I continued to walk a little bit because I knew I wasn't going too far. And then I came back and I said, but wait, this is our Grenada. This is my Grenada. And I don't think we should be prevented from just walking in an area, an open area like this. So I felt that my rights were violated. I felt like if I was trespassing in somebody else's land or somewhere where they had something up saying no, no entry. And I felt sad inside, honestly. And I felt sad for other Grenadians. And you know who I really felt sad for? The two parliamentarians of the NNP who were there. And they could not walk as far as I did. Because the managers or whoever of the project said that we couldn't go in. Isn't that an insult to Grenadians, especially the ministers, who couldn't even walk a little way in? Or even though they could have said to them, look, I'm not allowing the locals to just come in, but you all can come in and then go and report back to them outside. Nothing like that. So I felt ashamed for them, to be honest with you. The other things that I'm concerned about is that the building erected is about 100 feet from the lake. Where you run the water that's running off from your buildings, your sewer system, what's happening? Where is it going to? Because the lake, remember, that's where the fish come up and spawn. That's where they come up and, the young ones, and then we get our fishes. And so, I mean, the mangrove will be destroyed. The turtles, the leatherback turtles that come up on the beach, on Livera Beach to lay. There's a body of persons, a committee up there, conservative committee, whatever, I can't remember the name. They look after the turtles and make sure that they bring people to see the turtle lane and all those type of things. What will happen with all the lights? And then you're putting up two, what it is, 8-story building or something like that on that property. It's inappropriate. The climate, they cannot afford to manage what would be coming from those buildings. And I am not against, and the NDC is not against development. Because during the 2018 elections, I strongly said that we need to develop Bathway, Liver area. But whatever you're doing must be done in a balanced way. So it's a win-win situation. It's not that to the detriment of the environment there or to the detriment of the people. But it should be that both sides can win at the end of it all. And we had projects that we planned for there, but it was small wooden cottages, a few of them, and not close to the lake by any means, where locals and visitors alike can come in and spend a weekend or a week or what and enjoy that type of environment. People who are in touch with nature. Okay, we spoke about, I spoke when I was on the platform about even having some paddling canoes that you can put on the lake, you know, so people can get a little ride around the lake. Enhance the lookout, the bird lookout area, sorry, where you can go up there and look at the birds. They said there are several hundreds of species of birds up there. What will happen to the birds with this high-rise concrete building? How many people would leave the high-rise areas of the world where they live to come to Grenada to go in a concrete jungle? Look at the amount of hotels that we have throughout Grenada. Are they always filled? Or are they filled at any time? The capacity is they're never full capacity. So why are we concentrating on hotels when, as we preach during the election time, that we can look at other means of livelihoods for people in the area? For example, we have it's called Historical St. Patrick. We have a lot of historical sites, right? We have Slave Pen, we have Carib Stone, we have Sulphur Spring, we have, come on, Anne, the Lipasil, I call it already. We have all the ponds, we have lakes, right? Just name them and we can show you those things. All we need to do is to enhance what we have. Because as I go around Grenada, you know, I try sometimes to put on my tourist or visitor's cap and I'm looking around, I'm saying, but wait, yes, we have some beautiful sites. Yes, there are natural stuff up here that people like to come and see, but they need to be enhanced. They're in bad state, they're in bad state of disrepair. They need to fix those places and have them looking good. So you bring the people around, you have nice flowers like Rose Hill, I was thinking, for example, the name Rose Hill. We should have a lot of different colors, different types of roses planted in that area. You're going up to Peter, to the hill up there, and you have the flowers. You can even have like, what you call a cable ride. You know, do things that will enhance the environment, yet not interfering with the whole area, the ecosystem. We need not to interfere with that. Because even for the project in St. David, I heard that somebody said we'll have to go and replant and do whatever to the mangrove. You know, years it will take to do that. Let it grow naturally. That's what the birds, that's what the fish says, that's what the crabs and everything do. You know, live on, they live off that. They do very well. So why not try to enhance what we have? Do projects, do cooperatives, have coconut oil projects, have herbal teas packaging, do the saffron, the ginger, the sweet, the pity bomb, the lemongrass, do things like that. Look at, we have the chocolate factory up in Hermitage, enhance it, help it to grow, to develop. We have Belmont Estate. Yes, we have PTNs, we have a hotel up there already, and I'm sure they never fill to capacity. Why are we so interested in trying to just put hotel stocks up rather than looking at alternative way of developing our countries and helping with jobs, right? And I would say if COVID-19 pandemic did not teach us any lesson, one thing we should take from that is that we need to diversify. We cannot continue along the path of just focusing, I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but just focusing on the hotel industry, the tourism aspect of it. But we need to look at others. Agriculture. So we do agro-processing, look at manufacturing of textile, doing sewing, you know, arts and crafts. So when people travel toward Grenada and they reach the north, they might even want to stay. Let somebody money stay up there. We can have the same, what did you refer to during the cricket, what we had here, cricket something, cricket,
World
when
Cup?
they had cricket World Cup, right? When they were offering visitors to have a stay with the locals. So that put money into people's pocket. They have lovely, beautiful houses in St. Patrick. Utilize them. So those things get me very emotional, because I know we can do better. And I know we should be doing better. And I know for sure an NDC government will go all out, because we put people first. And we'll go all out to make sure that people's lives come first. Their lives come first, because they're the ones who will take us into the future. We are going out, the older people. And with no disrespect to our, I think about 6 ladies we have ministers in cabinet. I mean, how can you sit there and allow certain things to happen? Because I know sometimes, well, not sometimes, men usually think differently to women. We know that. But the women, you have families, you have your children. Don't just say, look, we want to give jobs. Jobs at what cost? And again, let me ask the question. What type of jobs would our people in the north be exposed to? Because, for example, when the Chinese here come in, for example, the projects that they have done before, we can take a look at that and say, look, they bring in their workers, they bring in the materials, they bring in the tools, everything, equipment, everything. They're not even saying, okay, let us use the houses, the housing stock, in the St. Patrick area that we can live in and walk out from there at the project, so that the ordinary Grenadian, the people in the north, the poorest parish in Grenada can get a kickstart. They can get a kickstart from that type of injection in the economy, right? They're building the place to stay. They're bringing the workers. And when the project is finished, if it's finished, it's going to be finished, because Blossom, just to say, this is about the third or the fourth turning of sword in St. Patrick is in that Livero area to do projects, the Gulf Coast. We had the Oversons. We had, I think, wasn't it the Mailer, or Taylors or whatever before, right? And the project before this one, I remembered, I went to the opening ceremony and I sat there and I was looking at Dr. Mitchell, and he was all moving around and he's happy and smiling. And when I look back at that, the guy from Canada who had a run-ins with the same Oversons investors, he sent a letter to the Prime Minister, according to this gentleman, stating that the people are not above board. They are con artists, they're whatever he said they are, because he gave them money and he never got his building. So he asked the Prime Minister and the government of Grenada to be careful about going into a deal with these people. So when I look back at the date, he called, and then he called on George Grant's program. This is George Grant, may God bless his soul. And he spoke about all of that. We heard it as Grenadians. So why are we turning a blind eye and a deaf ear to what is going on up there? Why are we doing that?
Ms. John,
so that's what I'm saying. I'm not too sure. I was just going to finish up that point, that I'm not too sure that whether the project going to really come on stream, and if it does, what type of jobs would our people be involved in on that project? The yard boy, the cleaning of the bedroom, the maids, what it is, what would be there for them? You know, this is some of the questions we need to be asking. Even ask the hardware places. How much money usually the Chinese usually spend in their business enterprises, business places, apart from buying maybe some cement. Everything else come from China. Just want people to stick a pin and think about it.
You sound so passionate.
I am.
About not just St. Patrick, but Grenada. The next elections, whatever it is called, whether it's to 2023 or before, would your name be on a ticket?
Blossom, I would love to. And to be honest with you, remember that election politics is a strange thing. If your heart, your soul, and your body really into the politics, you never know what can happen come next election. I've sent in my resignation, yes, because of my poor health. And it wouldn't be fair to the people of St. Patrick because they know the worker that I am. I'm not boasting, but I have to take it. It belongs to me. I work real hard. And I was always out there with them, wherever they are, to meet with them, to help, to provide their needs, to do whatever. And, and it hurt my heart to throw in the cap and say, look, I cannot go anymore. But I have my mother who is ailing and myself. Maybe and I'm feeling much better now, so maybe I might change my mind. You never know. As a real politician, you don't just jump in and jump out. You have to have good reasons. And my reason is because of health issues. But let's leave a question mark over that question.
In the event that your health really bars you from being able to contest the next election, what sort of assistance, a matter of fact, is there somebody or somebodies that you think can take over the reins and do as much work or even more work that you have done? And two, what kind of assistance would you be able to provide to him or her?
I know for sure that the party is in the process of identifying somebody along with the people from St. Patrick East, because they have to be an integral part of this election of anybody coming to run, like they were with me. So there's no doubt in my mind that I've already suggested at least 2 persons that they can speak with. And Blossom, we always have to remember that we are not indispensable, right? Even the best of us, we're very good at what we do. There are other people who are always better than we are and can do better. So yes, if because if they find anybody, you never know if John ain't gonna jump back in the circle. But at the same time, if somebody should come forward, I have said it before and I'm going to say it publicly, that I will be there to assist. Although I'm still doing political work, I'm on with you. I'm out in St. Patrick doing what I'm supposed to do as of this Saturday going around. I'm keeping the people, keeping NDC's flag flying high in St. Patrick East and St. Patrick, because just the road that divides us and sometimes a little river or a little stream or whatever. So when I'm out there, it's St. Patrick. But of course, I will give preference to St. Patrick East. But I am doing what I can, and whoever is there, I promise, I pledge to be able to walk along with them, to help as much as I can. And I just hope if that happens, I don't look like if I've taken over the person's job when I'm out with them, because I'll try to help as much as I can. Because St. Patrick East is a winning seat. It is a winning seat for the NDC. But you see, the thing about it is, now, the same NNP people, they are complaining, and rightly so, because the NNP, they give them around the time of the election some green juice, I don't know what it is they drink, because all throughout the year, you hear they say, Miss John, I tired with these people. I voted with them. I voted for them for so long. And look at my condition. Look at my state. They would tell me that, and I believe them. But just the election bell ring, and Dr. Kit Mitchell said the election is on the 13th of March, 2018. And there is something that happens. I don't know if it's in the psyche of the people. I don't know. I don't want to guess. But something happened, and you see everybody on the buses again, and they're going. And after that, all now, when you go around, they will tell you, I had enough of them. But somehow, I think I want to believe them now. Because you know why? Our young people, they have stepped out. and they're out there and their voices have been heard. Whole time people saying, oh, I hear in the NEC, I see in the NEC. We on this radio, we on this, look at me on this platform this morning. We put out, we have newsletter, we put things in the newspaper, and the other party ain't doing anything. But NDC bar is set so high that we cannot make one iota of a mistake. And that's why I'm saying, NDCites, you all out there, come forward, assist. Don't be afraid to put your, because, you know, let me just jump again. To get a job on the road, to get your child into the money, they have to see little green tears coming out from your eyes. If they see yellow or red or anything else, you're not in it at all, right? So what they're doing, they're giving jobs to some of the people, not all. Because one of them sent a message to me yesterday. I got a message saying that they're tired with my whole family voted for NNP, sorry, all those years, and nothing have changed, and I'm ready to make a move. So I decided I'm going to go and speak with that individual and try to see how I can help them to see what's going on, because they're tired of them. And once you see the youth step out, and that's why the Prime Minister step in, you know. That's why he step in and put himself there as the Minister of Youth, because the young people, they have stepped out and they're ready for a role. And as an NDC government, we're there with the youths are with us, and we're going to make sure that come the next election, oh gosh, we're beating them, going and coming. They better look out. And Dr. Kit didn't want to give up at all. No bother about retirement. Dr. Kit holding on. He's holding on to the reins, because he know once he step out of that reign, that is it for the NNP. But God is in control of this rule, and nothing happens before it's time. And that's why our young people now need the support they can get wherever they can get it. But they have to be careful going forward with the NNP and Dr. Kit Mitchell putting himself there. And they should see that as a trick and a gimmick, because there is no way Dr. Mitchell would have gone and take the Ministry of Youth if he didn't see potential there with the youth. And the fact that the youths are out in the open, challenging him. Imagine the young people are challenging Dr. Kit Mitchell of 20, how many years of being in politics and holding the reign of the NNP, holding the main reign of the NNP. Huh? And you stepping down now like if he demoted himself, because he does Prime Minister, he does whatever. And because the youth challenging him now, he's coming down to meet them. I'm glad you've seen it, but maybe it's too late for you, Dr. Mitchell. The time has passed, it's gone. The youth are they're more aware, they're sensible, and they know what they want, and they know they're not getting it, because the people in St. Patrick, they need jobs. The high rate of unemployment in St. Patrick East. They need jobs, especially the young people and the women. Women between the ages of, for example, 30 years or 35 up to 60 when it's the retirement age in Grenada. They do need their jobs. They need jobs. They need sustainable jobs. They need real jobs. They need real employment so they can have what it takes to take care of their family, and they don't have to go to an NNP office to beg for 2 pieces of board. And I can go into housing, I don't know, because as I said, 2 pieces of board, that's another important one for me.
We'll go into housing on the other side of the break. Let's take a quick break, and then we're going to come back and continue the discussion. We're speaking with former NDC caretaker for St. Patrick East, Cecelia and John. We'll be right back with To The Point.
It takes a village to raise a child, and our children need our support to help them to become well-rounded and successful adults.
Reading activities from kindergarten to grade 3 build a strong foundation and help the children to learn and grow.
Everyday activities like talking and telling stories to your children help them to read, learn, and grow.
Kutwati Bodudu. Singing and playing games with your children are great ways to help them learn to read and grow.
When you're out and about, read signs, billboards and posters with your children.
Let your children choose books that they like and read for at least 10 minutes every day. Or let them read to you.
Connect with your child's teachers and find out what they're learning in school.
We want all of the children of the OECS to read, learn, and grow.
This message is brought to you by the OECS USAID Early Learners Program, funded by United States Agency for International Development. For more information, log on to www.oecs.org/ELP.
Get away from your daily stress with a Grenada vacation at the Koyaba Beach Resort. Koyaba is located on the world-famous Grand Anse Beach and boasts 5.5 acres of beautiful garden. We offer excellent service, good food and drink, well-appointed rooms and friendly staff in a safe environment. Facilities include 2 restaurants, 2 bars, swimming pool, water sports, tennis, gym and body treatment rooms. Call 473-444-4129.
You've spoken, we have heard. Now we're making more time available for your evening primetime shows on K105. From Monday, July 6th, Your Law will air from 6 to 7 p.m. On Tuesdays, Simply Agriculture. And on Wednesdays, join discussions on constitution reform in partnership with Island Media. At 5:55 p.m., we bring you news headlines, a capsule on local, regional, and international events, followed by news at 7 via simulcast with GBN Television. Join Godfrey Augustine for stimulating discussions on Release It from 8 p.m. on Wednesdays and Thursdays. GBN's K105.5 and 105.9. We're with you everywhere and anywhere. If you're on the move, catch us online at www.gbn.gd.
Reading is too hard. Reading school books is lame. I'd rather read about children like me and cool things. I can read, but sometimes I don't even know why I have to. It makes no sense.
Why can't we read about things we like?
Reading is the key to unlocking all learning and ensuring that children reach their potential. Here's what the children have to say.
Make reading fun.
Teach me how to read, but let me practice reading with things I like to read.
Talk with me and read with me, at least for a short time every day.
Let me tell you my own stories.
Read, learn, grow. The children are the future. Help them read, learn, grow. So parents, you play your part.
This message is brought to you by the OECS USAID Early Learners Program, funded by United States Agency for International Development.
Welcome back to The Point, speaking with former NDC caretaker for St. Patrick East, Cecelia and John. Ms. John, before we go to the phone lines and the social media, let's quickly talk about something you wanted to mention before we took the break, housing and your concerns with the housing projects. Tell us what those concerns are.
Let me just again premise that with the NDC's policy agenda for 2017-2013. They're looking at areas that, in terms of the housing, that one of the things that was said, is that the party will ensure, when we are voted into office, that all Grenadians have a home to which they have security of tenure, adequate shelter and privacy, access to potable water, proper sanitation facilities, together with basic electricity services. And Blossom, the latter utility, the electricity is rather important. especially in these days where our children are studying from home, you know, and using a lot of the tablets and whatever else and laptop that they have to use. So we need to make sure that those things are there. So we don't want houses just for the sake of having out, but it should be adequately equipped with the different utilities and so. So that's what we say. However, housing stock in Grenada is really, really dilapidated. And especially so for people who are non-supporters of the NNP. I'm saying that, and what I would do eventually, if these people would allow me to, because they cannot be so timid, you know. If when you're sleeping and your children sleeping, you're getting wet when rain falls, and people can stay outside and joke you inside your house, they should be bold enough, if I ask them, to give me their names and allow me to go with them to the parliamentary office. That's where they're doing everything, the local office, the NNP office, to make sure that they get the material that they need. I would do it if they would allow me to, because I have a lot of the names. And these families are people with families with young children. They're attending school, they're babies, they're whatever. And it's unfit. Look, I think you would have noticed, I don't know if it was on your channel or MTV, where this young lady came out and spoke about, and the house was shown in the news where she lived, and now you're not going to put an animal in a place like that. She came out and she's begging, she's pleading for help. And there are a lot of other people like that who they're ashamed to come out and ask for it. But they shouldn't, because when you vote in a government, you vote in a government for everybody, not for just one set of people. So I am concerned that our housing, especially in the rural areas of Grenada, are not given the type of recognition they need to get houses, proper housing for these people. Yes, we have these housing projects that are on in about 6, I think Caretaker, St. David, St. Patrick, St. George's, and St. Marco, wherever. The houses have been built, but it's far inadequate. It will help, and I must be thankful. We must say thanks, give thanks where thanks is due, where it's due. But at the same time, it is woefully inadequate, because when NDC was in office and they were looking at distribution of the houses, let me just share something. They had a committee, an independent committee set up to look at the criteria for one getting a house. Okay? They had the criteria set up. And when they did that, they had over 6,000 people applying. And they could have only given out about 300 and something houses. So you know, by now, that 6,000, I mean, if you minus the 3 something, we still would be more in terms of numbers of people who are seeking assistance with housing, right? So I am asking Grenadians to work along with the NDC and other bodies to make sure that these houses that are given, that are due to be distributed very soon, that they are not distributed the way they did in Sobeys or wherever it was, and on the east side of the island, and some at Mount Rush. Because what they're doing, they're putting their own people in there to pad up the list, to build up the election list for the voters. So they're looking at the people wherever they are, where they're strong, they will bring them in and put them in those places, in those houses. So we have to make sure that we protest that type of behavior and make sure that the people who are most needed, the needy people, those who are most needed, I should say, the people who are the lower income bracket, the people who are living in poverty, the underprivileged people should be given the first preference to get those houses. And they should not be going into an NNP office to collect a form to be filled out to get a house. That should not happen. It should be done independently. And if they want the salt, they need to change that approach right now and make sure that they put structures in place that will be fair and equitable at the end of the day, that people can say, yes, NDC did it before, and they did it the way it was supposed to be done. Look at the Venezuelan houses in La Colombe when they were distributed under the NDC. And NDC made sure that the people who are in need of those houses, they got the houses. Some NDC people were even mad with with us because they said, look at how NNP people, you all gave most of the houses to NNP people, but that's not the reason. If there is a need for it, we try to do it. So please let it be fair, because a lot of people are suffering even now, suffering more so now because of the COVID pandemic that they're under. Don't put them under for the stress. They're already stressed. They're stressed to the limit.
On that note, let's open the platform for our listeners and viewers who may have comments, questions, queries, concerns for Miss John as it relates to, well, Grenada, St. Patrick East. 435-2041, that's the landline and WhatsApp number. You can also message us on Facebook and YouTube. Let's go to our first caller. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Auntie Blossom.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good.
Good morning to your guests. I noted very carefully some things that Ms. John mentioned. Two things. One, she mentioned about the green juice. And what people are saying, they're complaining about the NNP. But I don't know what, she doesn't know what happened when election come around. The same people who complain and they want fall back. That's very interesting. And I want people to know that. Then secondly, she mentioned about the Chinese. She should not be surprised. Now, a lot of us sit down in Grenada and we don't really look and watch or listen or read. Now, if you go on YouTube and you bring up some things about China, you will see what kind of China we're dealing with. China has their people very oppressed. Things are taking place in China now. They are going through a lot of destruction. They have floods, landslide, things, bridge blowing up, bridge fall. There's a lot of things going on in China. And the people are suffering, and you're not hearing a thing from their friend Grenada. No condolences, nothing. Now, China have an initiative called the Belt and Road Initiative, and it is known as the debt trap. They tried it in Africa. They went to the poorest countries in Africa, and they got them to take loans and to do things that they cannot afford to pay, and they turned the country into their own. They take over all the infrastructure of those countries, and so the people cannot think. And they do not employ any local people. They bring their material, they bring their people, and so they don't come in to give you nothing. We're not benefiting anything from China. They say we hear we don't have to pay for the houses. We don't know. We might hear something later on. But we have to know that these Chinese people come with an objective, and they have that objective for the world. But if we go on YouTube and you just bring up, look for Crossroads, and you bring up some things about China, you see what's happening there and who China really is.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Ms. John, any response, or I could?
I just would like to congratulate this lady who just called for her input. I think they're very valid input.
All right.
And the Grenadians just have to be aware of certain things. It's not everybody that come to you, take them wholeheartedly. You need to look at what's happening, because the end result could be very detrimental to your family, to your children's future. That's the most I can say at this time. Thank you, madam.
Somebody on WhatsApp is asking, we see the NNP positioning themselves politically for the next general elections based on the moves of the recent reshuffle. If the election is called early, like in Trinidad and Jamaica, is the NDC ready? 2.5 years after a slate of caretakers have not been named, I believe too much time is spent on NNP. I beg more focus on your party's development, because we need a strong and united effort to confront the NNP.
Yes, the party, the management of the party, they're in the process of electing possible caretakers. It might seem like it's taking some time, but I know that we would all like it to be when somebody is chosen or selected, that it will be the right set of people that you, the caller, can be proud of, that NDC did the right thing. It's sometimes a little difficult. It's sometimes difficult to get people the people that you're going after sometimes. it might not be what they want to do, although we see them as people with potential. So it takes a little while. It takes a little while. I understand that. But when I'm speaking here, I don't know if he's referring to what I'm saying. I try to be as balanced as I can. I also making suggestions as to what we can do to move Grenada forward. And that's one of the mantra of NDC. We always give, like Sister Claudia said the last time, most of the suggestions, recommendations, projects, programs that we have looked at, and NP started taking one or two of them, although not the way it should be, because like she said, it wasn't something that they gave birth to, so they didn't feel the pain, so they're just doing it superficially without any big set of, emotion, input, whatever into it. They're just doing it to appease people. And for a vote, of course.
Back to the phone line. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, Blossom. Good morning, Sister Anne. My big question is, why are we in Grenada, after we have seen all that is going on in China and what is happening in the world, why are we embracing the Chinese who have messed up the whole world? They are conscious, they don't have a conscience, and they are the cause of over 1 million people dying throughout the world today. Why are we embracing them? My next question is, what is going on about this project in St. Patrick? For me, I see it as a big farce, because no tourist is going to take the strip from the airport to get up to St. Patrick with the state of and the condition of our roads. I don't know if they would have to by that time, because the state it is so bad now, they might have to use donkey cart to bring them up there. And if they're going to take the hours to reach up there. And by the time they reach up in St. Patrick, all the turtle watching gone, all the fish gone, all the crabs gone, all the lifestyle of the people around there. So there is nothing for them to come to Grenada, up, especially in St. Patrick's, for them to enjoy. So I don't understand what is going on, and I know for sure that project ain't going nowhere. Right now, China is in a mess. Destruction. The wrath of God is on China.
Okay.
And the other thing I have to say, just give me a chance. The school has given out tablets to the children. And right now, as far as I understand, I spoke to a parent this morning, most of them have to return the tablets. I don't know if those tablets came out from China and they get it free. But this whole thing they give those children, and they should do something about it. Make sure that when they're giving our children something, they give our children something proper. Stop fooling our people and our children.
Thank you very much, Ms. John.
I understand my sister's passion for what she's saying. And I, to a certain extent, agree, but a lot with what she just said. The thing about the tablets, though, it's strange that when it suits us, the music, we dance to a different tune every now and then. Because when NDC had this school book program, it was $25 for handling of the books, taking care of the books, the people who distribute the books and putting it together and so. And this present government advised some of their own supporters not to take the books. Oh, it's too expensive. If it's free, why you have to pay $25? And now you're asking them to pay $50 for the use of the tablet for something that over the years, I think 2013, the government promised each and every child in school a tablet. And now COVID had forced them now to try to help the children. And then I'm hearing too about the retrieving of those tablets. I don't know how true it is, so I don't want to say much about that. When I talk, I want to talk with facts so I can support what I'm saying. But I hope that is not the case. And even some parents, I understand, who have their own tablets, they still have to get what the government is giving or donating, not donating, giving to the children. So I don't know what's happening there. Somebody will have to clarify that for me.
There's a question on the WhatsApp. Somebody wants to know your thoughts on the Mount Rodney Road to Davie and Prospect, plus the Breakwater project.
Well, from the beginning, thank you, whoever it is, to WhatsApp person. This is something that I'm very passionate again about, because since they were doing that work, there were people who said that based on what they're doing, eventually the water would affect the people who live lower down the beach. And so done. Because they never did an environmental impact assessment. They didn't do a study on that, right? They went ahead and they did it. Everything has just been rushed. And as a result, this is the result that we are facing based on the trying to expedite everything without doing it properly. So a lot of the people have lost their houses. The water is threatening now the main road to get into the road. The coconut trees are down. And I'm afraid that it will cut off the main road from Cecelia leading to Pitians, our only hotel in that area that provide jobs for our local people. I would warn them quickly to look into it and see how they can rectify the bad, ill-informed job that they did with the breakwater in Cecelia. They need to do something about it. And they just come and tell me that the people who are living on the beach side, whose homes were affected, that they will give them apartment in the housing project in Cecelia. That is not good enough because they're continuing to make mistakes, and we cannot be doing that as a small country. We're wasting a lot of our scarce resources, both financially and otherwise. So we have to be careful about that. It's a really a poor job that was done.
And the road to Davie, the Davie Road and Prospect.
Yes, that's what I'm saying. The road's going to be cut off eventually.
Okay.
So there wouldn't be an access from Cecelia going into the St. Pitians, Davie, Mount Alexander area, unless you pass from the other end and then you have to turn and go back out. I know the time coming up very quickly, Blossom, and I really wanted to talk briefly about teenage mothers reintegrating into the into regular school system. I too, like the NDC, believe that education is important, and to get people out of poverty, to get you from one point to the other, you need to be educated. That is what's going to help us as Black people to get through, and any nation at that. But at the same time, because the person is pregnant, a young mother, sometimes it's through sexual abuse that a person got pregnant, no fault of their own, they need to continue their education. But we are wondering whether it's the best thing to put them back into the regular school system. Why? Because they have tried it in the past and they had a big backlash from that, okay? So I believe we have the program for adolescent mothers, PAM, and that program has served the young people and their families well, and their children, the babies, well over the years. At PAM, you can bring your children, you can go there if you're pregnant, you can go there with your children, your babies, there are carts there for them, there are facilities there for them. You are more in touch with your child, there's more bonding relationship going on. And I believe that if they want to do anything to help the teenage mothers, that they need to upgrade, they need to do an assessment, an evaluation of PAM, and then try to get more of these people involved in the program, rather than putting them in the mainstream education where they're not, people don't see them as fit for that program, people look down at them, people cast remarks. It happened before, and some of them even had to leave the regular school system. We know that PAM this year had 100 passes. The pass rate was 100 in the CXC exam. All the children who sat the exam passed the subject that they sat. So it tells you that something good is happening at PAM. And it's not about changing it. Once something is good, you don't change it. But what you can do is to evaluate it. It's to constantly upgrade so you can make it better for those that come in. And I hats off to PAM and the workers and the young people who are there. We have to support them. They're in need of our support. And all I can say to them is do your best. We tried the regular education system before, it didn't work. So please, let's not go down that road. Unless you all want to do a consultation with people, and I don't think it's necessary. It might be a waste of money. Maybe we better put it into our young people who are out of jobs. There are a lot of other things I need to say, but I realize The time.
We're out of time.
Seem to have caught up with us.
I want to ask this Facebook question here. Somebody's saying, we know St. Patrick as the place of agriculture, and you as a farmer, what do you think of Mr. Peter David as Agriculture Minister, and what are you looking forward to that Mr. David can do for farmers of St. Patrick?
I heard your question right. I'm a farmer, the person said?
That's what the person says.
Well, I help the farmers a lot, so it seems like if I'm a farmer because I used to sell the produce and so. So most people thought, all now people calling me and ask me if I have pumpkins for sale and what and what. And all I do is to contact my people up in St. Patrick because farming is good. It's all right. Yes, the government had a right to reshuffle their pack. Although we know at the end of the day, it's the same set of people reshuffling. What they need to do is to change the attitude and the mindset. If Minister David, I guess, want to take off, or he can keep on his legal cap, but if you want to add the agricultural one under on his head, he needs to consult a lot with farmers. He needs to be out there with them. You need to listen to them. And most likely, because agriculture is one of the mainstays for our country, the backbone, I should say, for economy, I think what we need to do, instead of beating him down, try to walk along with him to see if we can make a difference in the lives of the people who are hardworking out in the community. Farmers, our Prime Minister already said that he's not something that he's interested in really, and you can see that from where he's going. But I don't know what will happen, but we just need to support whoever is in agriculture and help Mr. David to be a better person in that area and help Grenada to grow agriculturally wise.
Thank you very much, Ms. John, for speaking with us this morning. Appreciate it. Appreciate your passion as well. Continue doing what you're doing. And keep us updated once a new caretaker is elected or if you're returning to take over.
I hope NDC people didn't hear the last part. Thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Thanks for your contributions. I really do appreciate it, and I welcome it. And God bless everybody.
And God bless you as well.
Thank you, GBN, for having us.
No problem at all. Thank you. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, and same to you.
All right. And that was former NDC caretaker for St. Patrick East, Cecelia and John. We thank her for being our guest this morning. It was interesting having this conversation with her, and we will certainly extend the invitation at a future program. Thank you to her once again. And thank you to our viewers and listeners for tuning in to The Point this morning. Appreciate your listenership and your viewership. That's the end of my time today. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning, God willing. Until then, keep safe, love each other, and Janelle is up next with Mid Morning Buzz. Have yourselves a good one.